Okay, to run this, again, you need to have already done the patch on Rebol, and these files need to be included. This is a file that came from the rebcall download, addr.r. You need the rebcall DLL that was also included in the rebcall download. You need rebcall.r that was also included in the rebcall download, and you need your patched version of rebol.exe, which was created from this process of running the set DLL program. You never need that set DLL.exe again once you've done the patch. So you need all those things, plus you need your DLL that you're trying to access a function from, and we're going to use the patched version of Rebol. If you get the commercial versions of Rebol, you don't need all these additional things. On this, and what we're going to do is run the editor. Run the editor none, and we'll just paste this code in here so we can run this in a mode that will allow us to go through the program one at a time. Save it as temp.text. And okay, here's the program running. We're going to enter the first integer, enter another integer, and here is a bit of code that's actually running from that DLL. And so if you look at the pure basic code, you'll see that it puts up a message box. It says this part of the program is written in pure basic, and next the pure basic code will multiply the values that we passed from the Rebol code into this code and return that result back to the Rebol script. So now this is some more stuff that's Rebol code, and you can see the multiplication result calculated by that DLL was 30, which is correct. 5 times 6. So we've accessed, and again, just to see what's going on here really quickly, this is what's going to happen in any sort of function calling. Again, this is pure basic code, so it's not meant to be understood, but you can see that we've got a little message. This was the message that we saw put up by the DLL, and here we've got the actual message requester that was put up. It puts up that message. We're running that do some stuff function, and it returns the value of x times y. We use that function by first getting some variables from the user. We run the rebcall module, load the library from the pure DLL that was created, create a function from the do some stuff function in that library using those two variables, and we run that function using our a and b variables that were set in Rebol. We save that answer that was returned from that function that contains the value 30 in our case, and we print it, rejoin it with the multiplication result calculated by the pure DLL was the answer. And then at the very end you want to free the library so it's not taking up any memory. So the basic outline is this: to use rebcall to access DLLs. You just copy this basically verbatim, just copy and paste code. We load our library, whatever the name of your DLL is, and then we need to know what the function name is inside the DLL. There are programs that can let you look at what functions are contained in DLLs, but typically if you're using a DLL, you'll have the API for it. You'll know which functions are included, and the way we use that function in Rebol is we create a Rebol function name that we're going to use in Rebol. And again, when we copy this basically verbatim, at the very end we put the library name that we loaded and the function name inside the DLL that we want to use. Use this make routine and any return values and parameters that the function requires, that the function inside the DLL requires. And then to use it, we use that new function name and give it any parameters that are expected. And we can also, if there are return values, assign a variable at the beginning here. And when we're done, we free the library. Do it anytime you want to use a DLL. Here is a function that we're going to take directly from the user32.dll, which is part of Windows. First, we're going to get some text from the user, and we're going to load that library. The message box A is a function that's contained in user32. It's in all versions of Windows. And basically that puts up a little message box, a Windows message box. And we're going to create a Rebol function name for that message box A function in user32.dll. It's going to take several parameters, an integer, a string, and an integer. And just telling here the code that we're going to get that function from the message box, or the message box A function from the library that we've loaded. And then we can use it. To use that, we use our newly created Rebol function called messagebox. We pass it the parameters, the 0, the string, another string, and 0. And then when we're done with everything, once that function is done being used, we free the library from memory. Paste that into our Rebol interpreter. Again, this is a patched Rebol interpreter. And we didn't type anything here. Let's do this again. We'll patch it. This is an interactive script, and so when we pasted it, when we asked the user here for some text, we didn't actually paste anything in. So in this case, this is an interactive script. It's easier to run it in the interpreter. You press F5 to run it in the text editor. It'll run whatever code is in there. Now we can run it interactively. Hi there. And now it uses the Windows message box A function to put up that code that's passed to it.